All right, testing. Can y'all hear me? All right, testing. Can y'all hear me? All right, let's give it a few minutes, wait for some folks to come in here. Okay. Sending out a tweet so folks know that we're live. What else do I look at here? All right. Let's check out the big guys first. See how SPY and QQQ are doing. So, well, obviously, we're pushing down overnight. And so we're going to have some gaps. And so I'm wondering, is there going to be any gap filling coming? Now, I don't have many, maybe any levels on SPY at the moment because I've been focusing on QQQ. But, I'm going to be looking at this gap here. Let's see how far this let me go. This gap here. See if there's going to be any filling coming in. We can move that as the day kind of goes on. And then there's going to be, I'm hoping we can at least move through this area at open and start to push. I don't know if move through is correct, but at least push toward this range here to get at least an initial push. So we'll see. This is not really a top. This is just a gap. Top area would be more up here. So these are levels that I put in if there's something I'm looking at intraday, just to have a note that here's where we might get some resistance, here's where we might get some buy strength. And so the buy strength is down here, even though I know the price is situated below there at the moment. If we can get a push, I don't know if we can, but we'll see. Let's see how QQQ is. It's gonna look pretty similar, I think. All right, so QQQ leaving a gap right at this level. So we're gonna have a box here on QQQ. Situate ourselves up just above this level, I think. We'll make this guy gray so it doesn't stand out too much. And then the buy zone, I'm hoping we can push through and then establish over on QQQ would be maybe as high as this, but coming down to about here. So unless it just comes in and starts bleeding, that's what I'm going to look for. It could definitely come in and start bleeding. Just keep that in mind. This is not me saying it's going to come in and pump, of course. All right, and then this is what, if it is able to make it through this gap and get a pretty big push here at any point during the day, this orange level is intraday what I'd look for it to do to maybe hit some sort of terminal resistance and sell back off a bit. So these are just zones that I put in where I look for potential buy and sell opportunities intraday to get some scalps, basically. Look for those ranges and see what they do when they get there. But what's our next level down here on? Do we not have another level down on QQQ? Does QQQ still have a gap that's not filled? It says, yeah, it still has a gap to the upside here that's not filled. FYI. That gap kicks off here at 361.59 and goes up to 364.46. So there's that. So that could be something. We'll see. But yeah, we're only a couple of dollars, or a few dollars, I guess, now off of trying to get into that gap. I tried to get into it a couple of days ago. No luck, but that could be interesting for sure. The next level down that I have from here is this 355.04 that we've been putting in some additional levels. It's like a double wick level here. These 2 days certainly could have fooled some folks. I could see that, looking for like a quick double bottom play. That's why it's always dangerous on something back-to-back like that to not wait for the confirmation candle, right? Because this would have been the confirmation candle. It's like what Cano did yesterday. It's like, here's a double bottom. This is a little bit more supported because it had that same range several days ago. So that one would have been a little bit more confidence boosting. But, I still was waiting for the confirmation candle, and it came in there. And then today it's still continuing to push. It looks like it was going to pull back earlier in the day, but see, it retraced a bit yesterday and then was pushing down a little further into open. But now, as we're getting just a couple minutes away, it's trying to push up. Let's see how things are looking on the big guys on the Think or Swim study. I'm going to switch my screen here to the Think or Swim setup, so you can kind of take a look where things are in the channel, where the TTM squeeze indicator is situated. Let's check out SPY first. So this is on the 1 hour. I want the 10-minute just for continuity. All right. So coming in, yeah, we have the 180 to 200 EMA cloud up here, which could provide some additional resistance. That would be right up around 430, high 430s. And slipped out of the channel here. Nice reversion back to the mid-range of the channel. Pushed the upper bound and then pushed right back down through. So I'm wondering if we're going to get sort of a big push down out of the channel into open. And then maybe the question is going to be, can it come back and test the mid-range of the channel, that bright blue area? I don't know if I can coordinate a scalp while live streaming this morning, but if so, I may attempt it. We'll see. It's just going to depend how dexterous I feel. Let's look at QQQ. Oops, knocking stuff over here. Hold on a sec. Okay. QQQ. It's probably going to look pretty similar, but just in case. Not quite out of the channel yet. So this might not be sort of as bearish leaning at the moment. That said, it could be if it continues to treat this red wave as resistance. In other words, it's not even coming back to test the mid-range of the channel, just sort of a common indication of more momentum in one direction. But this candle right now, sort of looking like it wants to make an attempt. So we'll see if that sort of leads to anything. Was it AVTX? Is that? Yeah. So is this guy out of the channel or what's happening? Okay, it was out of the channel. Okay, now it's come back to the mid-range. So here's a good test for it. It's already up over 25% today. So the question is going to be, is it going to push? Is it not going to push? And what's that going to look like? So keeping an eye on that one. Canoe. And then we'll look at... okay, so this came in really out of the channel. So now the question is going to be, is it going to come down, test the mid-range? It's going to ride the green wave, which just like the red wave that we just talked about on QQQ, similar situation. If it's riding this wave and it doesn't come down to test the mid-range, that could be indication of additional really strong momentum and strength in that direction. Thar was the other one. Oh, is this still coming up as hills? What's the deal here? Okay, Thinkorswim. Don't know what it's doing here. Maybe it... Hills changed its ticker to Thar, and I don't know if this just... Thinkorswim can't handle it yet. I don't know. Again, if you want a ticker to look at, please just toss it into the chat, and I'm happy to take a look at whatever. You can also look at it on the Webull chart as well, so we're not just looking at it here. So QQQ is slipping out of the channel as we were talking about. And so I'm going to be looking at the levels. Let's flip over to Webull and take a look at the levels there and see if there could be any interesting levels coming up. So QQQ slipping out. And my question is going to be, is it going to be able to come back and make a run here? I can get rid of yesterday's intraday levels, which held up well. These are the ones that I'm looking at today. It's getting really far away from the EMAs, as we'll see here in a moment. Oh, why? Just leave my setup, Webull. Stop resetting my stuff. Ay. Okay, so wicking off of this 8 EMA, as you'd sort of expect. Question is, was there anything yesterday? Well, yesterday's lows right around here. Let's see if these hold up as anything useful today. Put these in. I'm going to dot them. And okay, so it's right about where we are right now. So that could be maybe a little bit of a map. Let's see, there was also the pre-market lows yesterday. Where do we want to... Is there anything? I don't know. Sort of split the difference here, maybe. Everything is just a single candle, so it's not super helpful in a repetitive sense. But all right, so this came within what, 23 cents of that there. So we'll see if it needs to stretch down, or if it's going to pull back up here. I'm looking for maybe a motion into or through this green box if I want to play a counter trend. But I'm going to have to sync it up with the Thinkorswim setup, because what I'm looking for is for it to work itself back into the channel and test the mid-range of the channel. We'll have to see if it's going to make that kind of a motion or not. Can we get rid of a few things here? I don't think anyone tweeted a ticker to look at, but let me just check real quick. No. Tried streaming on Twitter yesterday as well. Might try to do that a little bit. We'll see. So looking for a potential bounce either at this or this level but my real test range is going to be here. There's a gap in this area, this grayed out box, as you can see here. There's this gap. So if we can get some upward motion, there's potentially room. That's just what I'm looking for there. And I don't usually play this early in the day. I'm usually more toward sort of lunchtime kind of guy, or at least sort of 10:30, something like that. 10:30 to like just before power hour, maybe sometimes just into power hour. So say like 10:30 to 3 is about my prime time to try to get some stuff done. This came within 20 thousandths of a penny to the level that we had on the chart. So pretty good there. As you see, AVTX filled the gap that we had. You can barely see it, but that's the point. There's this light gray line here at 2035. That was the top of the channel, or top of the gap, that was saying that it was filling the gap. That's a gap on the daily chart, and it started at 1815. So once it got into that gap over here, this was last night, got into the gap this morning, and then it's just held in the gap the whole time through. And then here's where it really ended up filling it. It filled it technically with the wick here, but nice candle body fill here on AVTX. So now I'm, looking to see, is it going to hold this bullish setup with the 8, 21, and 34 EMAs stacked at the moment, or is it going to do something else? Let's see what QQQ is doing. So we got about 3 minutes left on our first 10-minute candle here. Canoe continuing to shrug off that 30. That's where it had trouble yesterday. Canoe trying to push again today. It pushed, what did it end up to be, about 20-something% yesterday, I think. It was up much more than that during the day, but as you can see, it pulled back a little bit in the second half of the day, but it just really struggled to get any motion over that 30 level, and doing that at the moment as well. So that's sort of the key range for it at the moment. It's that 30 level. Now Thar, which I took the other day, last week, used to be Hills, used to be ticker symbol HILS. Up over 36% today, and just kind of crawling. Not really much of anything happening here. Just interesting on such a move. So we'll see if that continues to hold. We see bearish crossover here on the EMAs. That's going to need some volume if it's going to do anything. Canoe doing a good job, even though it can't overcome this 30, of holding that 8 EMA at the moment. AVTX, okay, still no crossover. We'll see how this candle, we're darn close to it, working itself through at the moment. Here comes QQQ. So here's the, especially now that that 8 EMA is inside that box, that could get pretty tricky for it. So wow, big push. And we got about a minute left in this first 10-minute candle. I'm refilling on some coffee here. Yeah, shrugging it off at the moment. What I would kind of like to see, if it would do it, would be to give a dip buy opportunity. And so maybe sort of trying to push through this right now, maybe catching resistance in this box, but maybe catching resistance to that 357.61, and then pushing off and maybe coming down just to these candle body lows here, or to this dotted line here, retesting support there, and then making a run through. That would give me a potential dip buy opportunity in this range from say right on the dot of 357 down to about 356.77, and then I would just know if it slips those levels and starts treating them as resistance, the the trade is a bust, just cut losses. Or, look for it to turn ship and look for the counter trend run. Here we go. We got a lot of run room. I'm not in this, obviously, at the moment. Has a lot of run room if it wants to fill that gap. I don't know if it does or not, but it's going to hit this 39.51 resistance level just before it finishes filling it, just within a couple of pennies. But right now, strong resistance off of that green box. I'm going to toss into the chat here my a link to my Twitter handle. If you want to join me there, I'm going to flip the stream over there just because we get a lot more folks over there. And I'm going to flip it over there. We'll stay live for, a little while, as long as some folks want to hang around. So meet me over there in a few minutes if you'd like. All right, catch ya.